As long as I'm hitting all the old classics, getting back into the groove of pumping out low-quality content for you to watch while you game, let's give representation in gaming another spin. And we have the perfect opportunity today because Dove, the soap guys, are trying once again to change the gaming landscape for the better. How we're making virtual beauty real. We're on a mission to challenge and change female representation in video games and help make gaming a positive space for women and girls. All of gaming? That's insanely broad to the point of making it a positive space for anyone. Not really making sense. Is all of it just not good for women? What do they mean? I've also never liked the presentation of gaming as a place you go or exist in. Games are things I engage with. Even with a game like VR Chat, I'm using a program. I'm not buying into it to the point where I feel like I'm there. When I have a phone call with another person, we're not in the phone call space. And I don't feel that because I play games, an insane amount compared to the average person, that I'm in gaming space all the time. It's not an accurate descriptive term. I think it's intensely forced to be able to present what happens in games as happening to people in a place that they can either be allowed in or shunned from. It's used to make issues of taste into a moral question. It's not actually how things are, unless you buy into that idea, which you can just not do. There's a massive amount of games with a massive amount of variety. Pick the ones you like the look of, stay away from the others, whatever. But anyway, what do they mean? They say, Dove has always championed real beauty, breaking unrealistic beauty standards and putting real women and realistic body types at the heart. Since 2004, the Dove Self-Esteem Project has become the largest self-esteem education provider in the world, giving girls the tools they need to build self-esteem and body confidence. Great. A brand that sells you products to make you look nicer, in charge of the world's self-esteem. Cool. Okay, beauty products. When you have a person in an ad for them, you're kind of saying, this is beautiful. It implies something that's not like that isn't beautiful. Fine. You can read a message into it. I get that could make a girl feel self-conscious. The thing I never understood, though, is, isn't it worse if they look like you? If they don't look like you at all, you can just think, oh, I don't look like that. If they look like you, though, that's me, but better. I need to buy their goo and rub it all over myself. Surely. But the world is changing. More and more girls spend time in the virtual world of gaming. Stop this. You're running a program on some hardware and interacting with it through an interface. You're not entering a space that needs to be safe for you to live in outside of, leaking info or being preyed upon if you're vulnerable and interacting with strangers. And an estimated 60% start playing video games before the age of 10. While gaming can have a positive influence, like finding new connections, communities, and ways to express your true self, the portrayal of women in video games isn't always so positive. I'm not sure girls under the age of 10 making new connections online is a great idea, but okay. Also, no improving your problem-solving skills. No learning discipline in a competitive environment. No learning to deal with pressure and emergent problems. No being made to think about something in a different way. They're just going with, gaming can be positive if you meet people but said in a different way, or if you can show yourself to people. What's next on the list? Women be shopping so they can enjoy microtransactions. I would put this list in a parody article, a bit about a misogynist being in charge of women's empowerment. But okay, what's a negative portrayal of women in video games then? How do they define that? Female characters in games do not accurately represent the diverse gamers of the world, and are often heavily sexualized, and created within narrow, unrealistic beauty standards. 74% of girls wish the characters in video games looked more like women in real life, and parents are worried about the impact this representation will have on young gamers. Parents are worried? Oh no! Maybe they'd be less worried if instead of letting them rely on a screen for self-worth, they'd actually raised their child. This is the same old, same old. Characters in games don't accurately represent the people playing them. Cool. I'd suggest they don't represent us at all, as in, that's not their purpose to begin with most of the time, so accuracy is irrelevant. They're not a representation. Credit where it's due, though. Dove are actually doing something to solve this problem they think exists. They're leading the way by designing what they consider to be healthy character models for games that represent true beauty. They even have a video. Oh, damn! The foot zoom into sweaty armpits? Yeah. Someone with a fetish or two made this. You can never escape sexualization because it's ultimately in the eye of the beholder, but this is pretty blatant. Also, note how those armpits were perfectly clean-shaven. Dove does promote its deodorant as being especially important to use after shaving, after all. So there's one character based on a real lady. Here's the original and her character. What else have they done? Okay, character creation normally has a bunch of sliders in it, so why not add a chromosome slider? Next. Okay, happy looking lady in a wheelchair. To be fair, I can think of guys in wheelchairs like Seth Green in Mass Effect, but not so much ladies. Unless this counts. So what did they do with her? Sure, looks fine. I could see this character being in a mobile game, trying to coerce you into buying magic crystals for only $5.99 so she can walk again. Figured it's worth mentioning as well that there's further art available for her, and for some reason, she's pictured with what I can only describe as a cyber crack pipe. I don't know what they're going for, but I kind of love it. Next up, I'll bet there are actually more people who fit the unrealistic beauty standard of your average game than there are people who have albinism. If you're saying presenting a character defines a standard that the people viewing it are expected to match, can you really allow anyone with a condition that makes them look outside the norm to be shown? Because that's an absolutely impossible standard for nearly 100% of women looking at it to match. I don't know. I guess I'm just dumb. And as a game character... Bro, this is a Saints Row character. You can 100% just make this in a game now. Get out of here. And, that's it. Gaming's saved. Women are no longer in danger of seeing a character that doesn't look like them in their digital toy. Time for the deep take. Feelings Hour with Uncle Harmful. Having your self-esteem tied to shows or movies or digital toys is fucked. And it's not how you have to be. The people who say it is, who simply want to tweak things a bit, are almost always people who benefit from you having this problem, from society being this way. Dove doesn't want your self-esteem decoupled from media because they still want to use media to sell you shit. This is a company fixing the rainforest being torn down by planting 5 trees. Not even that positive, actually. They want to mindfuck you. But they want you to feel good about being mindfucked. Buy their products and join the beauty brand cult instead of feeling bad that you don't use their stuff and look like the hot people in their ads. They look like me and they use Dove. Guess I use Dove now, like picture of me do. This is literally what they are telling you they think of you. Do you not get it? It's feeding vanity instead of shaming insufficiency compared to a standard. Maybe that's better, but they're both mass manipulation to get you to buy shit at the price of warping who millions of human beings are as people. Positive representation is a trap. Buying into the idea that you need representation at all, or even are inherently affected by it, and not conditioned to look to these things for validation to begin with, is handing over control of who you are to God knows who. Notice again, I'll say, all the people saying how much representation controls you and the world and how you have to cleave to it, it's unavoidable. They also want to decide what that representation looks like. It's beyond cliche at this point, but please, for the love of God, just be yourself instead, and don't look to entertainment or, God forbid, advertisements as a guide. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.